Hello and welcome back to Colonial Airstream. I'm Patrick Botticelli. If you met any of my friends, they would tell you one of my favorite activities is cycling, and one of the favorite places I love to cycle is on the Jersey Shore in New Jersey. I love the beach houses, I love the beach, I love the whole scene there. And one of the most favorite things I love doing is looking at the homes and architecture. And this new Airstream International with the Coastal Cove interior reminds me of that beach cottage feel that I love so much. This trailer line is available in a 23, 25, 27, 28, and 34 plans, queen and twin on many of them. But what we're going to feature today is the 25 FB. That is a front bedroom, and this is the twin bed version, which happens to be quite popular. This trailer comes standard with a power zip-D awning, get beautiful sunbrella material on the awning, and it comes in two different seating colors. The one we're on display today is the aqua, and there is a seashell interior decor as well, which will be a light gray seating. Both the interior decors are the same except for the seat color, and they're both beautiful. This trailer has a 25-foot, 11-inch length. That's from the center of the ball to the back bumper. It is 9 foot 9 inches tall from the ground to the top of the air conditioning, and it's 8 foot 5.5 inches wide on the outside. That gives you an interior width of 8 foot, so there's plenty of room inside. And this particular trailer has an optional second air conditioner. So it comes standard with a 15,000 BTU air conditioner. It has a second air conditioner, which is 13,500 BTU in the bedroom, which upgrades electrical service to 50 amp service. The unit base weight before factory options is only 5,700 pounds. The gross vehicle weight was 7,300 pounds, so that gives you 1,600 pounds of cargo or options you could put inside the trailer. So this is towable by many full-size SUVs and full-size pickup trucks. So if you're in the tow vehicle selection, you want to make sure that you have a vehicle that can tow a minimum of 7,300 pounds, hopefully more. And the hitch weight, that is the hitch weight before factory options and before cargo, is 850 pounds. So you want to make sure your vehicle has a hitch weight capacity higher than that, and also enough payload to handle the hitch weight and the passenger weight in the vehicle. The interior height, if you look at the floor to the top of the ceiling on the inside of the trailer, 6 foot 7.5 inches. So there's plenty of room for people that are over 6 foot tall. It is a concern when people are buying an RV if they're going to be comfortable inside, and Airstream does afford you plenty of headroom on the interior. Let's head inside the trailer because I want to give you a quick review of the lay of the land so you understand where things are in the trailer. And then after that, I'm going to go through in a little bit more detail on how stuff works and where everything is. So let's head right inside. What a beautiful open floor plan. Look, you have windows that go all the way around, all the way up to the dinette and the panoramic area. This dinette is large enough to seat 4 people at. And this whole entire dinette easily folds down and makes into a 42-inch wide by 97-inch long bed. That's good for 2 adults or 2 kids. This slide lounge here also easily slides out to a 42-inch by 66-inch long bed that is good for 2 adults or 2 children. This trailer could sleep up to 6 people. If you get an optional overhead bunk in the bedroom, you could pick up 1 more person in this trailer. So there's lots of options for sleeping. Over here in the galley, you have plenty of counter space, solid surface countertops, deep sink, plenty of storage below, a large 8 cubic foot refrigerator in the hallway, slide out pantry here right next to the galley. Comes standard with a gas oven with a 3-burner cooktop. This one has the optional convection microwave upgrades that is in place of the gas oven. So you can choose either or. There's a center wardrobe here and what we call a split bath, where the shower is on one side of the hallway and the toilet is on the other. So there's plenty of room in this compartment to close the door, do your business, and come out. And if you just wanted to close this whole entire area off, there's two privacy curtains. There's one here and one here that close this section off. So if you're in the shower and you don't want any disturbance in here, you could do that. In the bedroom, we have two twin-size beds. These beds are 80 inches long by 34 inches wide. And look what it does. It really opens up the floor space. It's not just a room with a bed in it. It becomes a lounge area so kids could put the TV out and play on their games here. If you have pets, there's more room for the pets to lay down and walk up and down the aisle. It is available with the queen bed. We do sell quite a few queen beds. With the queen bed, the bed is 60 inches wide by 75 inches long. And you can walk around, you can squeeze around, there's enough room to get around. And then up under the front here, you do have to duck under the cabinet, but there is plenty of room to get around the bed. But we find that people love these twin beds. And with the twin, you get a large drawer here in the middle. And you get two extra trunks on the exterior. So you do gain a little bit more storage on the twin bed. Now that I've shown you where things are in this floor plan, let's go in a little bit more detail and I'll show you where everything is and how it works and how it's built. So let's go. Check out the front panoramic window. This middle window opens all the way out, and there is a rock guard on the outside that you have to open first, which protects your glass when you're towing, because this is the front of the trailer, and that will give you plenty of ventilation. There's also two windows on the side. You have an 18-inch window here. We call this a stacked window when there's a porthole below. You pull the two handles, twist, lift, and there's three different heights. 1, 2, 3. A light rain, keep it on the low setting. Heavy wind, close them. Insect screen on every single window that opens. So there's 3 total in the bedroom. Just make sure before you hit the road, you lock these down. You don't want one of these to fly open when you're towing. Aluminum interior skin. So there's an exterior aluminum skin, 0.030, and there's an interior aluminum skin. So it's double walled. In between, we have EcoBat insulation. There's a membrane tape here on the ribs that doesn't allow heat transfer from the outside or inside. Double line curtains here. These curtains have the blackout lining, so you can pull them across and get your privacy, and it also doesn't allow a lot of light through. That's great. All the cabinets are plywood with laminate. There's no particle board or sticker in any of the cabinetry. That is what is different about an Airstream compared to some other brand trailer. Also, too, look how thick the doors are. This is 3/4 inch. This is very stable cabinet grade. It's Italian light ply that Airstream uses. And you can remove the shelves and you can hang clothes in here. Or, what I find is easy, just fold the clothes and stuff them in. And premium hardware here. You can adjust these hinges and the doors and change the angle as things settle over time. And a heavy-duty J-latch here to keep the closed. The corner bead here, instead of plastic, like in the industry, this is solid oak that's stained. All the cabinets are done with pocket hole screw construction, very strong for you when you're putting plywood together. So you don't have to worry about staples coming out. The bedding comes with the trailer, so it comes with a bedspread and decorative pillows, and you just have to bring your own sheets. This is a pillow top memory foam mattress that Airstream uses, and it's on top of Luan here. This is the base for it. This is easy to clean off if you need to. Underneath here is the battery charger. This converts AC to DC and charges the battery. Also has all your breakers in here. And there's a 50 amp trailer, so that's your main breaker. Over here is your 12 volt fuses. Those are automotive ATC fuses. AC current, which is 120 volt, is labeled here. DC current, which is 12 volt, is labeled here. And then inside, there's a battery charger that right now we have the lights on, we're plugged into electricity. I hear that fan running to cool the charger down because we're using a lot of power here. Over here, there's a compartment that flips down for storage. The door is removable if you want to store larger things in there. And I have another one here. And Airstream includes these plastic pins here. It allows you to organize your stuff. Very easy to carry into the house. And then over here, this box that's underneath this nightstand, that is the front trunk. That's the storage on the outside. So your storage compartment is warm as long as the body of the trailer is warm. There's an electrical outlet at the head of the bed, remote control for the standard television in the bedroom, 2 reading lights over the roof locker. By the way, most RVs are not LED. This is LED, but look how nice it looks. It's not that bright LED. This is a warm tone, so it's very comfortable to be inside of here. Upper roof lockers have lights built into them as well. Very deep. Check out the size of this pillow here. That just fits right in there. It gives you a gauge on the size. In the corner, there's speakers on each side of the bed. Those curtains pull all the way across the panoramic window to give you complete privacy in the bedroom. On the side of the bed here, we got a USB charge port each side, so you can charge your cell phone. You can even get a USB powered fan if you just want some airflow next to your bed. I have one on my Airstream, works great. This side flips down, there's one bin. And then this side flips down, it's open storage. We got a furnace duct here for the standard 25,000 BTU furnace that's on board. And there is an emergency exit in the bedroom. This is a large window. This is a 30-inch window. This opens just like the other window, except the handles are red to identify that it's an exit, and the screen is removable so you can climb out. You don't want to pull that unless it is emergency, because it's hard to get that back in. Over here, we have the electrical outlet where your 1,000 watt pure sine wave inverter powers this outlet when you're not plugged into electricity. You turn it on and off as needed. And that plugs into the television. Television's plugged into the cable and antenna, and it has an HDMI that hooks it to the standard Blu-ray player. And it has an articulating arm with a lock built into it, and plenty of cords so you could really bring this TV around at different angles. Very important to lock the TV in place when you're towing. You don't want the TV to swing and get loose and smash out your screen. All your lighting control here for your cabinet indirect lights and the reading lights is here. And the ceiling light switch is here. If you look, they are dimmable up top. So you can dim them down and adjust the light. You don't want it super, super bright in here at night. Over here is a thermostat. This is a Dometic thermostat. And you could turn the system on here. Right now we have no modes on, but you could toggle through the different modes. We have air conditioning, auto, which will be air conditioning or heat pump depending on your temperature setting. Heat pump only. Fan, which is just a fan circulating air inside the trailer that uses your air conditioning blower. Mode off, which would be no systems on. And then we're on zone 1, right? So there's zone 2 in this trailer because this trailer has 2 different air conditioners. On zone 2, there's an extra mode. We have air conditioning, auto, which would be heat pump or air conditioning, heat pump only, furnace. So that's the control for the furnace. You can adjust your temperature up and down depending on your desired temperature. Fan only for that air conditioning, and off. You could program, you could set the clock. There's a lot of different things you could do, but very important, just remember what zone you're on, zone 1 or zone 2. Whatever zone you have it turned to is what zone you're making changes to. And that's how you dial in your temperature. You can see your inside temp here, and you can change it from Fahrenheit to Celsius. There's a company out there called MicroAir. They make the soft start capacity for air conditioning. They now have a smart thermostat that you can replace it. You can take this out, plug that one in, put their trim kit in, and you can control the air conditioning off your phone. You download the app, and you could remotely turn your air conditioning on and off. Now, the trailer would have to be plugged into shore power. Everything in this trailer run off the battery system that's on board, okay, except for that microwave and the rooftop air conditioning heat pumps. In order for those things to run, you would either have to bring a generator and start the generator, plug the trailer into the generator, or be plugged into a campground shore power. And I'm going to show you where that is when we head outside later and the power requirements. But that is just a quick tutorial that those things you need electricity to run. Up top, we have intake grates for the air conditioner. So this is where it's pulling air in, and then there's registers here that allow the air to flow out. And you could spin them around and you could shut them on and off depending on where you want to dedicate the airflow. And there's no baffle between. So if you have the air conditioning in here on, it's going to duct throughout the whole entire trailer, through all the ductwork, and you could shut certain sections off. If you have both air conditioners on, it just puts a larger capacity of airflow through the vents. And this is the quiet stream ducted air conditioning. One of the biggest innovations that Airstream has come up in my career was in 2014 when they introduced the new land yacht trailer. Well, the land yacht was the first Airstream travel trailer to have ducted air conditioning, and we called it Quiet Stream. Airstream called it Quiet Stream because it's extremely quiet compared to the centralized air conditioning we had prior to that. Well, it worked so well that the following year, Airstream made a standard on every 25-foot and larger Airstream travel trailer. And it did so well that the year following, in 2016, they made it standard on the 19 and the 23 and 24 plans. Today it's standard on everything except for Bambi and Base Camp. But it does extremely well, and we're very happy with it. One thing you do have to look out for is these filters. When you are camping in a small space, your clothes and your towels and your sheets put off the same amount of lint that you would have in your house. It's just a lot of lint in a small place. Well, that all gets trapped up in these vents here. And we get a lot of calls, people's air conditioning's not working. The first thing we have them do is take the filters down and clean them, and they're usually completely clogged. So once you clean them, the air conditioner will work better. That's the first thing to check, and it happens a lot, so you have to clean them almost every trip. So I find using smaller towels and changing in one area really helps prevent them from getting clogged, but it is something to be mindful of. The curtain that we saw here in the hall, we talked about before. I'm just going to pull it across so you can see what it looks like. It's really thick, and it gives you plenty of privacy here. And then it velcros around to keep the bulk down, but then it clamps in place here when you're traveling, because you don't want this curtain to dance around the hallway when you're towing down the highway. The hallway here is plenty wide for two adults to pass each other. Porthole window on the bathroom door, and there's a gap here that allows more air to come into the bathroom because the bathroom has its own exhaust fan. And the exhaust fan you just push straight up, and that pulls air straight out. And then when you're done using it, pull it down to seal it from the weather. There's an air conditioning duct in here as well. And down here we have the Dometic toilet. This is a porcelain style toilet with a foot pedal. So you put your foot partially on the pedal all the way down the flush, and it goes straight down into a black tank, which is 34 gallons on this trailer. The gray tank, which we hear about a lot, right? The gray tank is your shower and your sink waste. That is 31 gallons. So these two tanks are separated. So toilet waste, it's a lot of toilet waste you can put in this trailer, as well as shower waste. The fresh water, if you are not at a campground, not hooked up to their water connection, you could carry 39 gallons of water in this trailer. That's quite a bit of water. And we wouldn't normally recommend traveling with that whole entire tank full, but maybe enough to pull over on the side of the road and wash your hands and use the toilet. That's what I do on my Airstream. In the bathroom, we have some storage here next to the toilet with a toilet paper holder up top. We got a lot of calls, people can't find it. It's in the cabinet. It prevents your toilet paper from unraveling when you're driving on the highway. And this is part of the Colonial Airstream RV starter kit. We got you a lot of really nice stuff. We have special toilet paper. You just want to be mindful when you buy toilet paper that it's septic tank safe. And then some deodorizer you pour down the toilet and review the instructions before you do. There's some storage here below the sink, some more storage, and it goes right up to the wheel well. So when you think about like a pickup truck, right, that has a bed with wheel wells and they're boxed in, well, Airstreams have such a low profile that the wheel wells cut into the body. That's what gives you such a low exterior height of 9'9". By doing that, they do have to box in. You lose a little bit of storage because the wheel well's cut in, and it costs a little bit more money to make the trailer because of more cuts, but it gives the customer a better towing experience. And that's what Airstream's all about. That's their heritage. People buy Airstreams for their quality, their styling, their resale value, but also for the towability. If you buy a trailer and you're not comfortable towing it, you don't like towing it, you're probably not going to use it a lot. People buy Airstreams from me that have had big trailers or trailers that didn't tow well. That's the first thing they say is, wow, this thing tows incredible. I can't wait to go on my next trip. That's important when you're buying a travel trailer, that it's going to be comfortable to tow. And that's Airstream. 90 years they've been doing this. They're the best towing travel trailers on the market. Look at the flooring here. This is vinyl flooring. This is sheet vinyl. This goes all the way under these cabinets. You can open the access door. That floor goes all the way underneath. They put the flooring down first, and then they hand carry all the cabinets into the trailer and fasten them. The shell of the trailer is made first. The shell is just as strong with nothing in it as well as when there's stuff in it. That's a little bit different. Most box style trailers, the items go inside first and then the walls go up around and everything fastens together to keep the trailer from racking. On an Airstream, you don't have to worry about that. Also, they have a composite deck flooring. Has great screw retention. It won't rot. Has a little bit of insulating factor. This was a new innovation Airstream came out with within the last couple of years. We had plywood floor, tongue and groove plywood floor, 8x4 sheets, marine anti-wicking substance to the perimeter. Great floor. Excellent floor. We used it for years. My 1961 Airstream travel trailer has the same floor, the original floor, for 60 years. But this is the next level. If this floor ever was to get wet, it's not going to delaminate or rot. So it's a better for long term. If you're going to keep it for a really long time, that floor will hold up a little bit better. Plus, it's one piece, one continuous piece, so it's not put together in multiple pieces. So there's less of a chance of a floor creak or warping in the floor. I opened this access panel because I wanted to show you that Airstream, when they put a system in the trailer, they put an access point to it. The water pump's in here, so you need to get into here for winterization. Also, there's ductwork that goes down into the tank. This trailer has heated tanks. What does that mean? Well, it protects you against unexpected drops in temperatures. If you're camping out and it gets below freezing at night for a short period of time and you have water on board, you have that furnace on, that's going to protect that tank from freezing. Gives you about a 7-degree boost in the temperature in the tank. The tank is dropped into an insulated chamber and there's an air gap that goes around it. And that furnace ducts air around the tank, bringing that temperature up. It's not designed for below freezing, sub-below freezing temperatures day and night to have water on board, but there's going to be a lot of times when you're out camping and you get a dip below freezing at night, you want to be protected. Let me show you a couple more things in the bathroom before we head to the shower. If you look over here, stainless steel sink, beautiful residential faucet. I mean, that's the thing with Airstream. This is residential quality. This is meant to be used every single day. Same with this sink. A lot of RVs have plastic sinks and plastic faucets, and that's okay. If you're using a trailer for vacation, you're only going a couple times a year, that might be all you need. But our Airstream customers have a higher level of expectation. They want to use their trailers more, so residential quality is definitely the way to go. There's a light switch in here for the bathroom for these overhead lights. And then we have the water heater control. So you could turn the tankless water heater on here. And there's a flow sensor. When you turn on a faucet, it will detect if water's flowing. You got to make sure you turn the faucet on enough. And you'll have instant hot water. Now, a little bit of water has to run through the line before it gets hot here, which is fine. You could save some. You could put in a jug and use it to flush the toilet. And then you could set your temperature. So you're not setting your temperature like here, like, oh, it's going to be a little bit warm. You could set it right here. You could set it to 120 degrees, 110. It's not going a long distance, so it's not losing a lot of heat in a way. But that's all controlled here. And this water heater is made by Girard, and it is gas. It uses propane gas as its element, so it's gas only. There's a little towel rack here on the side, and then there is storage above. And you can lift this all the way up and you can put a lot of items in here. There's a ledge here and an electrical outlet for hair dryer, curling iron, stuff like that. Now let's take a look at the shower. Shower has frosting on the door for privacy, aluminum frame, magnet to keep it shut when you're parked, travel latch when you're towing, fiberglass two-piece construction, bright white interior, another fan. Same thing, you pull that down when you're done using it. Clothesline that pulls it all the way across. And you can lock that in and then hang light items from it. Shower wands removable from the wall. You could pause it once you get your settings desired set. Moen faucet here. And then the box on the bottom is the wheel well we talked about before. That's the wheel well there. And then there's a drain plug that you put in when you're towing so the water doesn't splash out of the P-trap and prevents the gray tank odor from getting in your trailer when you're towing. Over here is the wardrobe. Inside the wardrobe, there's a QR code here. And then that QR code, you could scan that with your phone and it brings you to support.airstream.com for this specific trailer if you have support-related challenges and you want to look something up. Airstream spent a lot of time putting these videos together and resources together for their customers so they can really help them through any challenges that come up. Our dealership, we give you a full orientation. So any Colonial customer, they purchase one from us. When it's prepped and ready, they come down, they get hands-on training. It takes a few hours to go through and teach you how everything works on your trailer at our dealership. When you're all done, we highly suggest spending the evening in your Airstream at our dealership after the orientation to try things out, to get in the shower for the first time, to use the toilet for the first time, to cook. Try the systems out. If there's something you're unfamiliar with that you need review on, we're here for you. If you need an adjustment on anything, we could take care of it for you before you hit the road and go back home. One last thing on the inside the wardrobe, besides the hanging rod here, is there is an access panel for the shower faucet. So you don't have to tear the whole trailer apart if you ever had to replace the faucet. You just take the access panel off. That's really cool. I mean, the way they put these things together makes it a dream for technicians to work on in the future. They're not taking a lot of components out. Like this refrigerator went through that door. On some RVs, they put it through slide boxes. They take windows out to put refrigerators in and out. On the Airstream, the door is a little bit wider. That allows these things to fit through. So that'll be important down the road in the future. Storage above the refrigerator. 2 more intake grates for the standard 15,000 BTU air conditioner. This refrigerator is 8 cubic foot. It's a Norcold refrigerator they're using. And it runs on a compressor that uses 12 volt DC or 120 volt AC. So no propane. Okay, so that means you can leave this on when you're towing down the highway and you don't have the big vents on the outside of the trailer. So it's a lot more efficient system. It also cools in a few hours, where the propane absorption style takes about 7 hours to pull all the heat out of the refrigerator. To turn it on, you just turn the on button here on the side. You got to hold it in for a few seconds. And then you could change your temperature setting, and you could do it for the freezer or the refrigerator. You just have to pick which one of these. And you can bring it up or down depending on how much cooling power you need. We find that 3 is all you need, but if you're going to be in an area with no hookups, no air conditioning, and it's 90 degrees outside and it's going to be warm inside the trailer, you might want to put it up to the highest setting. And then if you're cold weather camping and you have the interior temperature set to 60 degrees, you might want to bring the refrigerator down to the low setting so it doesn't overwork and freeze your stuff in the refrigerator. So that's why the setting's there. And then it has a really cool night mode. So I can hear the compressor running. It's a little bit of hum in the background. You can hold this in at night, and they know at night you're normally not opening and closing the refrigerator door every 10 minutes. So it runs the compressor at a lower speed, which is a little bit quieter for night mode. So you can turn that on and off from here. In the refrigerator and freezer, really deep. A main advantage of these compressor refrigerators is that they're deep. So an absorption refrigerator goes up to about here. So there's not a lot of options for large boxes and stuff you can put inside. But the compressor ones go all the way back. And that's great. I have compressor refrigerators on both of my Airstreams, and I'm able to put things in there that would never fit in my previous absorption style refrigerators. There's storage below here, right up to the wheel well. the pantry, pulled it out before. 4 racks, which are adjustable. You know, it's very important that if you're you gotta put stuff in here, otherwise these could pop out. So if it's your first trip, maybe you wanna, and you don't have stuff in here, take them out or zip tie them in. Once you get weight in there, it'll stay in when you're towing. There's storage below that you could get to. Storage up top. Plenty of storage in this roof locker over the kitchen galley area. There's a light here so that illuminates the cooktop area at night, and there's a fan. And there's a vent on the outside that you have to open in order to vent the cooking smell outside. We'll show you that when we go outside. 3 burners. The front would be your high output, so you just turn it on to light, okay, and we'll spin that over. There we go. And then I can adjust it down. And we can do that one, put it to light. And that one. And there's a cover here, so once this cools off, it's not hot right now because I didn't have it on long enough. You can put the cover on, gives you more counter space and prep space. Gas oven that comes standard is really nice. A lot of customers upgrade to convection. I understand why, because this particular model on this one has an air fry, it's a microwave, and a convection all in one. You have to decide which mode you want to put it in. But regular microwave mode, you know, you got a regular carousel inside. In convection mode, you have this rack here that you can put in and allows the electric element to glow and the fan to circulate the hot air around your food. And we've been using convection microwaves and Airstreams for many, many years. And a lot of people have gotten very comfortable and used to having them and prefer them. Storage below here. Down here we have your propane leak, gas leak detector. It's also the carbon monoxide detector, the CO detector on board, and that's hardwired to the battery system of the trailer. 3 drawers, and the hardware Airstream uses is great. I could squeeze in on the bottom of this drawer, and I could take the whole drawer off. I mean, this is great stuff. If a technician needs to get in here to access or chase wires, to run more components, they can do so. And then when you put it back in, it resets it. So up top here, there's a silverware organizer in this drawer, and then there's a kit. This is a trailer that has a power awning. Power awning runs off the battery system on board. If you had battery failure, you could hook up to the motor on the awning roller these jumpers, and you could power the awning in and out by your car battery. And then there's a tool in here that you could hook up to a drill, and you could bring the side awning arms up and down if you need to manually put them in. This is explained during orientation, and there are some guides on Airstream's website as well, but you don't want to lose this kit. You got to keep it handy inside the trailer, don't leave it at home. Back wall here, we have the Victron MPPT control for the solar charging system. This trailer has the optional solar charging, 180 watts of solar on the roof with 2 AGM Group 24 series 80 amp hour batteries. So you have 160 total amp hours on board in those 12 volt batteries, and you can run them down to 50%, so you have 80 usable. Aftermarket, you get the solar charging system to give you a lot of really cool equipment. Aftermarket, you could upgrade those batteries to lithium iron phosphate. You could do 2 battle-born batteries that are 100 amp hours apiece, and you can run them all the way down. So that means you have 200 usable amp hours. So there's lots of cool things you could do on the aftermarket. But this control here allows you to see how much watts and volts you have on board, and you could set it up for different batteries if you ever got them down the road. But that allows you to see how much voltage you have. If you don't get the solar charging system, your standard battery voltage check is right here on the wall, so you just hold that in. This is the Sea Level 2 tank monitor. It allows you to monitor how much fresh water you have. We have this trailer completely topped off. Gray waste, which is 0%, and black waste, toilet waste, which is 0%. I could turn the water pump on from here. That light will light up. Now I heard the pump come on. That pump pressurized the plumbing lines. Now, when I turn on a faucet, I have water pressure. When I shut that faucet off, the pump knows that there's no pressure flow coming through. It shuts off. It's called the demand pump. Never leave your water pump on when you're towing the trailer down the highway. Can you imagine 39 gallons of fresh water, pump on, you hit a bump, somehow this faucet kicks on, you're driving along, this sink fills up and overflows. So there are checklists and safety lists on Airstream support website. They have apps for it. You got to go through each and every component before you tow the trailer out of your driveway, before you leave the campground, to make sure you don't make mistakes like that. So pump's always off, and I always just depressurize the system so you're not driving with water pressure. Deep stainless steel sink. Look at this sink cover, this solid surface. This is really thick. Covers that area very well, gives you a lot of extra counter space. GFCI protected electrical outlet here. Now let's talk about the 1,000 watt pure sine wave inverter. I can hold this button in and turn the inverter on, which will power. There's an outlet under the dinette. There's an outlet in the rear roof locker next to your Blu-ray. There's an outlet here next to this TV and one next to the bedroom TV. So when I turn that on, if I'm not plugged into shore power at the campground, it takes your stored battery energy, voltage, and converts it to electricity, AC current. And that will power up a TV up to 1,000 watts. So think about it like no coffee maker, hair dryer, toaster oven. That's not what it's designed for. It's made for your laptop, computer, and television, small electronic devices for convenience. And when you're done using those items, you just shut it off, because with that on, and even on standby, it uses a lot of power. So it's meant as a point of use. Turn it on. When you're done using that item, shut it off. In the kitchen galley area, we have some lights over the countertop area and some indirect lights in the upper roof locker. Ocean air roller shade here. It gives you plenty of privacy in the kitchen area, and then storage below with a large trash pail. You generate a lot of trash when you're camping. You don't realize how much you can accumulate, how fast. So it's nice to have a large size. And this is cut out specifically to fit. There's a common size trash pail. And instead of bringing the countertop all the way to the cabinet, all the way to the floor, they leave some room here. So you can put your dog dish underneath there and slide it out when you need it. So they're very mindful of these additional items. On this side, we have the television, which is attached to the wall, it doesn't swivel, plugged into inverter and regular electrical outlet. This wall here has a design built into it on the laminate, which is all part of that Coastal Cove interior decor. There's the aqua cushion we talked about before. It is the color, and the seashell will be a light gray. But look at the stitching, the foam they use. People sit on Airstream trailer cushions after looking at another type of RV, and that's one of the first things they say is, wow, these cushions are comfortable, they're great. Well, they're thicker and it's better foam. Foam is expensive. Airstream puts really good foam in these. It costs a lot more, but the result is it's going to last a lot longer and it's going to be more comfortable when you're inside the trailer. This flips down. There's two plastic bins here for easy storage. This is cut out here because the furnace intake is here, and then there's ductwork under the dinette, hallway, down to your tanks, bathroom, and the bedroom. So there's ductwork all throughout the trailer. And then there's even storage here too. Two large windows here in the galley. All these windows are tinted safety glass. Vista view windows up top with screens. These have the ocean air roller shades, smoke detector with 9-volt battery, more ductwork for the air conditioning and electric heat pump, and then a skylight in the galley with shade. And this is cool, it has a thermal break, so it has an interior skin and an exterior dome, which doesn't allow heat transfer, cold transfer. The dinette, which we saw before and saw me fold it down, is plenty of workspace, so you can set up 2 laptops there and work. A lot of people work from the road. This trailer also has a wiring harness built into it, so it's pre-wired if you ever decided to get the Airstream connected antenna. So you have to buy the antenna, buy the router, and have it all set up, and then get a plan at att.com/Airstream. And then you could have a data plan for your trailer. There's different plans depending on how much gigs you need per month. I have one in my own Airstream because I don't live in mine, I don't work out of it often. I picked the 5 gig plan, which is about $30 a month. And I'm able to have a Nest camera inside my trailer so I can check on things. If I have a smart thermostat, I'll have internet for that. So there's a lot of really cool things you can do if you have internet on board. If you don't do the Airstream connected internet, there's other antennas available in the market, or you could use your cell phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot and have internet that way. Upper roof locker against the back wall has a lot of room in it, like the bedroom one. This is the owner's bag that comes with the trailers with all the owner's manuals for all the components inside. I just have it stored up here. This side has the wireless backup camera. So you put this in your tow vehicle and plug it into a 12-volt socket. And the camera that's built onto the back of the trailer is powered when you turn your headlights or parking lights on in your vehicle. That turns the camera on, allows it to pair with this. And you can leave this on the whole entire time when you're driving. So it's not only a backup camera, but it's a driving camera as well. And we find that it allows people a little bit more comfort when they're towing. They know when someone's coming up behind them. They know when they pass someone that they've cleared them before they could change lanes. Standard on every single Airstream model except for the base camp. JL audio stereo system. And there's a cover for it here, so if it's illuminated at night, it doesn't bother you. Blu-ray player with a USB input here. There's a USB charge port here on the side, and then the remote controls for the Blu-ray and the television are all located up here. 2 spotlights underneath the dinette. Rear window opens all the way out. The back portion of this dinette here, there's a subwoofer built in. So there's 4 speakers in the trailer with 1 subwoofer. And then over here, we got a large drawer. And these funky looking things are just the stands that come with the televisions. Airstream takes them off so they can mount them to the wall. And then there's a fire extinguisher right by the door here. And then on this side, look at this, the welcome mat. I give you a really nice welcome mat with the trailer. And this angle piece here, when you take the mat up, there's a lip, right? So water doesn't get in the trailer from the door. It allows you to sweep the debris over that lip to get it outside. A lot of people bring push brooms with them. This opens here and gives you access to the back part. And then you can see it's all PEX tubing and with shut-off valves. I see that differs. Not a lot of RVs have shut-off valves for the plumbing. So you can't isolate, like if this faucet failed, you couldn't shut that off and use the rest of the trailer. So it costs a little bit more money, but Airstream puts those on. Over here is the ceiling lights. You have the awning light. There's an LED awning light underneath the awning. You have indirect lights. So all your lighting control here right when you walk in. So you don't have to walk partially through the trailer to reach a light. You could do it from here. And then you could control the awning. You could open and close it. You could tilt the front or back right from this control here. And then you could disable and shut the awning off, which we recommend if you're towing the trailer to have it off. Just in case something moved around inside the trailer and press the buttons here, it's always good to disable it. And then you could also shut the whole entire battery system of the trailer down for storage. So you push this in and that disconnects the battery. And it allows a few things to run, like your electric hitch jack, your solar will still work, and your propane leak detector will work. One more thing I want to show you before we head outside is right up top here, we have a fantastic fan. This has a motorized lid that opens and closes. Fan blade, which is exhaust only. 3 different speeds. I can have it change the temperature setting. So right, that's our room temperature right now. If I want it to be cooler, turn it to the cool. Now that fan will run until the temperature drops a couple degrees. And when all done, I can shut it. And it even has a rain sensor built into it, so if a raindrop hit the sensor, it will shut the lid down for you automatically. And just in case you forget the duck on the way out, Airstream puts a nice bumper here over the door. My 61 Airstream doesn't have that, and I got some scars from it. Now, I know you're wondering, how much does this trailer cost, right? So the base MSRP is $107,800. That's the base trailer. It comes with a lot of things you've seen here. The options that this has, it's a second air conditioner with 50 amp service. That's $2,200. It also has the convection microwave upgrade, which is $475, and the solar charging system. We highly recommend that. The second air conditioner, those are two very, very popular options. That's $2,600. The national destination charge is $1,650, and the total MSRP is $114,725, as you see it here. The entry door is a work of art. It takes 8 hours to build. You see this in every one of my videos, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. But it's insulated, heavy duty, weather seal. When it closes, it's got this extruded aluminum frame, which is angled at the bottom, so if any water got behind it, it will run out. It's got grip tape on the bottom, double lock here, like a bank vault. I love shutting those doors. Beautiful cast aluminum hinges here, belt line protection where the two seams of the trailer overlap, gutter rail up top, porch light with LED up top, and look at this screen door. Look at all the welds, all the TIG welding, all the bending, screen door guards. This covers the gap here. This is the 90th anniversary, January 1st, December 31st, 2021. Any trailer made during that time period will have this here. And then this sticker here tells you, with the options that it has, how much net cargo carrying capacity. So what we start off with? We start off with 1,600 pounds net carrying capacity. This trailer, with the options it has 1,389 pounds left. It's pretty good. You can put a lot of stuff in here, a lot of water on board, and still not go over the 7,300 pound gross vehicle weight rating. You started out at 5,700 pounds when it was dry. So the door itself, like I said, it's a work of art, but so is the rest of the trailer. Look at this step. This is an aluminum step, all milled. You push these in, this flips up, this flips around. That's if you only need one step. Now, when it's time to come in, you just pull out, lift up, and lock it in place. And look, it's flush. It doesn't stick down, it doesn't stick out. It's completely flush when you're towing. The whole underbelly of the trailer is completely wrapped and enclosed in aluminum. And then the floor has flex foil insulation below it. So you got some room between the floor and the bottom of the trailer. There's jack points underneath here. So where's the jack? Well, the jack's in your truck. You have a truck that could tow the trailer, so you have a jack in your truck that could lift a portion of the trailer. So there's very specific jack location in the back corners of the trailer you want to be mindful of if you ever have to jack up a tire. You could also pull one tire off of the ground if you have a double axle Airstream trailer, because this has a rubber torsion axle. There's very little wheel travel there. So if you get 2 blocks of wood and go up about 3 inches and back one axle over those blocks or leveling blocks, that other axle, that other tire will come off the ground. So you could also not have to use a jack and still remove a wheel. The awning, we talked about the Zip-D awning, the material that's used. There's a motor in here that goes up and down. There's a motor on the roller wheel that spins in and out. So 3 motors work together with the system on board to bring the awning in and out or to tilt it. This is not a rain awning, it's a sunshade. So if you get heavy rain or wind, put it away. It's easy, just press the button. Go in here, turn it on, hit close, and the awning's gonna put itself away. I do that every time I leave a trailer. If I'm at an RV show and I leave and I walk away, I close it. You don't know what's gonna happen when you're not at the trailer, and you don't wanna be surprised. This trailer has stabilizer jacks, all 4 corners. Stabilizer, what does that mean? It doesn't mean you level it with it, it stabilizes it so it doesn't move around when you're inside. So there's a crank that comes with it, you can crank it down, touch the ground, go a half a turn, that's it. If you want them to be power, you can get a cordless drill with a 3/4 inch socket and zip them down. If you want to level the trailer, you have electric hitch jack up front to level it front and back, and you can get leveling blocks for the side to side. And that's how you level the trailer. Once you have it level, then stabilize it. LED running lights all the way around, panoramic window. Look, I can see right through the trailer all the way around with all these beautiful windows. Cast aluminum taillight housing with double stacked bright LED lights for safety, really high, okay, not low, so people can really see them well. License plate bracket with light, beautiful international medallion. The badging, Airstream is very proud of what they build. They put a lot of effort into doing these beautiful badging and medallions. that will last years and years to come. This awning rolls up, pull down, move these little stilts away. Spring-loaded, metal wrap. There's no lock for it, doesn't need a lock when you're towing. It just rolls up and down. Airstream lettering here, that's your wireless backup driving camera. Roof clearance lights, let's talk about that. Well, in order to power up the camera, you gotta have your parking lights or headlights on, day or night, right? That's how it works. It's important because not only does it power up the camera, but it powers up your clearance lights. This trailer is wider and taller than the vehicle in front. You're supposed to have them on regardless if you have the camera on or not. You need to let drivers know that you're towing something that's wider and taller than the vehicle in front. That's why they're there. So always drive with your parking lights or headlights on. Rear bumper storage lifts up, has a mat inside of it. There's holes drilled in to allow the water to run out. This is not a weatherproof compartment. This is great for those wheel chocks and blocks of wood, things that have ground contact that get dirty. Put them in here. Keep them out of your front trunk. Polished aluminum bumper caps on the end, protect your leg when you're walking by. These corners here are stretch form panels. So Airstream takes the aluminum and rivets it, buck rivets in place here, but these are flat sheets. They take the same flat sheets and they have a stretch form machine that grabs the aluminum and stretches it over a form. And then they cut all the excess around and they install it and buck rivet it in place. What's different about a buck rivet, Olympic rivet, and pop rivet? Well, a pop rivet is your common rivet that you would use for home projects or for the interior skin. You pull the rivet, the pin pops out, and the back mushrooms out. On a buck rivet, it's a flat rivet with a solid middle, and there's a guy on the outside and a team member on the inside, and two people together will cause the mushroom in the back. That's great because it doesn't leave you with a hole in the middle. To replace these rivets, if you ever had to get this panel replaced, you drill out the head, the rivet falls off, the back falls in, and you replace it with an Olympic rivet, which is like a pop rivet, but it has a seal built into it, and the shank, when it breaks off, gets stuck in there. And there's a special shaving tool that you use to make the head smooth like this and weather sealed. So those are 3 different style rivets you'll see on an Airstream travel trailer. Side window awning here goes the whole length from cap to cap. Shades your glass, shades the refrigerator, shades the shower and the wardrobe. Really allows the trailer to be a bit more efficient. It's standard on this model. It's optional of Flying Cloud or Caravel model, but standard on International, Globetrotter, Pottery Barn, and Classic. This rolls up, again metal wrapped, and then has a lock. Now the trailer comes with the tool to do this, but I could reach it. You need that on when you're towing down the highway. Furnace exhaust, 25,000 BTU forced head air propane furnace on board. This trailer, because it has a second air conditioner option, is upgraded to 50 amp service. All right, and this is the smart plug. So when you go to 50 amp, it's 4 prongs. So you have 2 hot leads, a neutral, and a ground. So when you go to a 30 amp trailer, right, which is 1 air conditioner, you only have 3 prongs. So you have more power available to use when you get a 50 amp trailer, which is great because you can run both air conditioners at the same time. You can run 1 air conditioner, microwave, and a hairdryer at the same time. A lot more power available. It's a little bit thicker. That's long enough. It's 20 foot long, and it plugs into a 50 amp electrical outlet. Now, what happens if you go to a campground and they only have a 30, which would be a 3-prong? At Colonial Airstream, we give you an adapter for that. This adapter plugs in 4 prongs and then adapts it to a 30 amp campground. So you only powers 1 leg of the power coming into your trailer. So you just have to remember not to turn on both air conditioners because you'll pop the breaker at the campground. Now what happens when you get home? You might not have a 30 amp breaker, electrical outlet at home. Colonial Airstream gives you a 30 amp to 15 amp adapter. So this will plug into any 15 or 20 amp electrical outlet, common outlet at home. And that will allow you to run your refrigerator, charge your batteries, use the microwave, everything except for your air conditioning. Now, there are some people that they get these soft start capacitors, easy start, micro air, for their air conditioning, and that will allow them to start up the air conditioner using lower amps. So you could run it on a 15 or 20 amp electrical out, but that means nothing else in the trailer should be on. You have just enough amps to run that air conditioner. So these are the different ways you could adapt a power cord. All right. Below that, we have a cable and a satellite. Satellite portable dish you can put outside, cable at a campground you can plug in, and that will go right to your TV. You'll need a cable box or satellite box to make those work, but it is prepped for that. There's an over-the-air antenna on the roof that powers your radio antenna. It gives you radio signal and your television signal. And behind this TV, we didn't get to see it, there's an antenna booster button that you need to turn on that will power that antenna up. Without that on, you won't have any reception. Goodyear Endurance tires. These are the ST 225/75 R15 low range E, max inflation to 80 psi. It's very important to check your tire pressure before you ever tow your travel trailer. And a lot of people do get now aftermarket tire pressure monitoring systems that replace these valve stems, and will have a device inside the tire and a monitor in your vehicle to monitor tire pressure and tire temperature. Lug nuts. You want to make sure you check your lug nut torques every single trip. If you ever take the tire off and put it back on, you got to pull over every 10, 25, 50 miles to recheck your lug nut torque. Very important. Tire pressure, lug nut torque, every single trip, you got to check it. So I would check it after I'd driven 100 miles and I go to the gas station to fill up my truck. I'd recheck them. Shock absorber on each wheel, rubber torsion axle system, has very little movement, but to give you a much better ride, they give you 4 shocks on this trailer. The freshwater tank and drain right here below the wheels. You're all done camping and you want to drain down the tank. In between, in this wheel well here, there's a drip tube for the air conditioner. So instead of water just gushing down the side of the trailer for the condensation, Airstream runs it through a drip tube. That'll drip right where that watermark is here. And instead of causing streaks and marks down the side of your trailer. It's lined up with the city water connection, so a lot of times people say, I think my water's leaking because it's going behind and in the trailer, but it's actually winds up being their drip tube for air conditioning. City water connection has a water pressure regulator built into it. When you hook up a water hose to this connection, it bypasses your fresh water tank and supplies water to all your plumbing when you need it. So there's a check valve built into the water pump that won't allow the water to backflow into the fresh water tank. So if you don't want to fill up your water tank with the campground's water, which you don't know how good it is, you could just supply it to your faucets. If you want to fill up your freshwater tank, you open up, this is lockable, and you take the cap off and you stick the water hose in here, and it will allow the tank to gravity fill and allow the water to, the air to relieve out here. So 2 separate systems. And then the tank, the waste tanks, you have a gray and black waste tank. This has a high pressure flush built into it. So after you drain down the tanks, inside the tank there's a jet under pressure, sprays the walls of the tank down and gets residual waste out. Don't mix these up. They have labels on them and it tells you not to hook up to here if you don't have the black tank emptied and the valve open. But I wanted to show you since we're over here. Moving forward, we have an outside utility shower with hot and cold water. And we have your tank waste. Discharge for main tank and auxiliary wash. Why does it not say black and gray? Well, I'll explain. Your main tank is always your black tank. That's your toilet waste with solids in it. You hook up your waste hose here. You get it all hooked in at the campground. Then you move these tethers out of the way, right? You need these on when you're towing. Pull this straight out, and that will allow the waste to discharge through your waste hose into the campground's dump station. When you're all done, you could close the handle and you're going to use your gray waste to wash. That's why it's called auxiliary wash. To wash out this discharge tube and your waste hose. That's why you save the gray water specifically for that task. And then when you're all done and you're gonna pack up and you're gonna go home, that's a good time to use that black tank flush. So you'd have this open, the waste out of the tank, and hook up the hose to that black tank fitting. Over here, there's a cap to close this off when you're done using it, and a light to illuminate this area, because sometimes you have to empty it at night. It happens. This is an example of a waste hose. You know, this one stretches out, and then there's a storage tube here you could store your waste hose into. This is the tool to operate and pull out the side awning or the rear awning. This is an exterior trunk with one of the extra trunks you get when you get the twin bed. Every trunk has a light built into it. It has a mat built into it so you can throw things in. It won't gouge through your vinyl floor. Insulated, double weather sealed, and lockable. This is the VIN plate with tire information, production information. You got another stabilizer jack point here. Heavy duty stainless steel wrap protectors, rock guards. They're gapped from the body to allow some deflection without denting the soft aluminum behind it. Has a hinge on the side here, so you can take these 3 nuts off and swing them out if you want to clean behind here and wax behind here. The solar stone guards, wrap protectors. Take these tethers here, stretch them, lift, lock in place. There's a knurl knob on each side. That allows you to open up your window. And then if you take a screwdriver and turn a quarter turn, you can undo these wrap protectors here and swing them out and lift off and clean the glass, right? Because it's going to get dirty back there. So that allows you to do the maintenance. Just make sure they're secured properly before you tow the trailer, because you don't want them hinging out when you're in tow. And make sure you lock this down when you're towing as well. Over here, we got a lot of cool stuff on the floor. Some of the stuff comes from Colonial and some from Airstream. So this is the tool for the stabilizer jacks. This is a multi-tool Airstream gives you, which has all different socket sizes, but the most important one is this one. This is a 1/2-inch drive, socket drive. So you could get a regular socket set, multiple sizes, and then you could get the one that takes your lug nuts off using this multi-tool. And it's easy to store. Just put it away like that. This is an example of a freshwater hose. This is a donut for your waste hose, so you get a better connection at the campground instead of having to thread it in. Some little gloves here. And then this is a tool for an electric hitch jack. I'll show you that in a second. And this is a propane quick disconnect hose. So there's a socket here. You just push in, pull the collar back, slip it in. Okay, turn the gas on. This you would have already hooked up to a grill. You need a low pressure grill, and they give you enough room to get it away from the trailer. And you could cook using your own propane on board. And the reason why it's low pressure is it's safer for a consumer to work with low pressure than high pressure propane that comes out of the tanks. So just make sure you got a compatible grill, and then shut the propane off, swing this back, and disconnect the line. Now you can get longer lines aftermarket, but Airstream didn't give you one because a lot of people would just be cooking underneath the awning, and it's a fire hazard. Over here, we have the 7-way. So your vehicle needs one of these receptacles inside. So it's 6 spades and 1 pin. So this, say a Ford F-150 with the tow package, will have the receptacle to plug this in, and it will power up your lights, your blinkers, and then your vehicle is going to need an electric brake controller. Whether it's built in from the factory or pre-wired from the factory, and we need to wire one in, or a wireless one, or a Bluetooth one, you need a brake controller because this trailer has brakes, has drum brakes. All 4 wheels have brakes on them, and you need to have them working. So brake control is necessary, and the 7-way is necessary. And we highly recommend that 7-way has a 12-volt charge lead coming from your alternator to throw a trickle charge on the batteries in your trailer. This tool that we put up here, this is an electric hitch jack. Up, down, got a light here so you can see at night. What if your batteries died or you pop the fuse? Well, you can manually put this in and manually crank the trailer up and down if you needed to. That's what this is for. Make sure you bring it with you. This is a breakaway cable. This has to be firmly attached to your tow vehicle, right where the hitch is, where the chains are. If the trailer and truck ever came apart, this will pull out and lock the brakes up in the trailer. They have full voltage going to them to keep those brakes locked right now. That's why you never use this as a parking brake. It will drain those batteries in a matter of a couple hours. So always leave this in. Always make sure the cable's not frayed and in good working order. These are your safety chains. You gotta crisscross them when you hook them up to your tow vehicle's hitch receiver. In here, we just have a hitch lock that just relocated. We normally put it in here where the coupler. This is a Demco coupler, and it accepts a 2 5/16 inch ball. So you wanna make sure that you use a 2 5/16 inch and nothing smaller, because it will fit in there, but it won't lock in and you'll lose your trailer. Propane tank, these are two 30-pound bottles, 7 gallons each. And you can select which bottle you want to use, left or right. And there's a gauge that shows green, that shows when your bottle is full. Or red if it's empty, completely empty. And then you turn on the bottle you want to use and bleed it out using your cooktop if you want to get the air out of the system. And then when that one's empty, this will turn red and you can shut it off and manually switch it to this one and run off of this one. Or you can just leave them both on and it will automatically switch between the two when one is empty. You choose. To get the bottles out, you gotta undo this wing nut here, thread it all the way up, take it off, lift the bottle cover completely off. That will undo this clamp, and then you can take your propane tanks out and get them refilled. These are not the size that are exchangeable, so you will have to get them filled somewhere. And then in front here is the front trunk compartment with a light just like the other one. You do get a lot more storage when you get the twin bed model. Let's check out the batteries. Colonial Airstream gives you a lock for the battery box. These batteries can get expensive. These are the 2 AGM batteries, Group 24 series, 12 volt. In parallel, they'll come with the solar charging system. And then over here is a ZAMP quick disconnect port. So even though it has the panels on the roof, there's 3 ports up there, but 2 panels. They give you an extra port out here, so if you wanted to put a portable panel in, you could plug it in, say if you park the trailer in the shade for the day. Over here is how you get to the spare tire. It's a full-size spare tire on a steel wheel, and you pull the pin out, slide it across, and then the tire drops down, and you lift the electric hitch jack up, and it's easier to get it out. It's just cradled in there, so it's not clamped in, so it's very easy to get out when you have to. Just make sure that is secure when you're done. Over here, another stabilizer jack point, another storage compartment. This one's deeper, and it gives you access for water heater, for draining down plumbing lines, for winterization. And this is the access for the Girard water heater. This is exhaust, pressure relief valve. Don't ever store things in here. It needs this gap all the way around it. Over here is the cooktop ventilation we spoke about earlier. Pull the latches, and then when the fan comes on, this will exhaust air out. And then when you're towing or in storage, you always want to put those latches back on. And then over here is an outside GFCI protected electrical outlet. I hope you really enjoyed the tour that I gave you of the new 2022 25 FBT International. This Airstream is available for order at Colonial Airstream, Millstone Township, New Jersey, Central New Jersey, between Princeton and Freehold. And we have a beautiful new facility, 50,000 square foot. We'd love to have you over. You can visit us on the website as well. We're colonialairstream.com. Definitely check us out on social media. It's Colonial Airstream on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you want to follow me, I'm Colonial Patrick on Facebook. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you soon. Have a great day.